you might have had, so you might be doing all these steps. I know there's more steps, but just so you can see it. Now, I've explained what the steps actually are, so you can actually get better at them. And even more so, if you want to train someone else, you know what you're doing. A lot of people sell by intuition. So, and the beauty of the way I train and the bridge sales process is that it's what actually works. Like, it's what, as a buyer, we need. So when you have an empathetic person that sells by intuition because they know what people need, this is decoding what is actually happening, as opposed to a lot of other sales where it comes from, okay, I know that this is what's got me to budget each week, without so much considering the prospect or now clients, how they felt about it. Because a lot of the time you're like, sorry, I got bronchitis. It's been hanging around forever. I don't still have bronchitis, but it's still annoying me. Not COVID. Instead of, it doesn't take into account what is actually going on for the prospect. So we know, like you guys have experienced sometime that you've bought and you thought the guy or woman was a complete dick, but there was no other option, or you didn't have time, or the price was good enough and you went ahead with it. So there's all those sales that person got, but they don't know that they completely alienated that prospect. So the bridge process is what is actually happening for the person in reality. Now that you know these steps and you get used to these steps, you can now compare them, because when you do step 2 for a driven or a dominant type personality, you need to be here. But for an influencer, you need to be over here. So you start tweaking the steps depending on who you're talking to or depending on where the deal is. Sorry. But you need to know the steps first. You need to know what's going on. Then you can play with it. Because step 4, when you're talking to someone who's a C-type personality, is over there. You know what I mean? Like, so with a step 7 being the close, well, with all those, you will close differently. S-type personality be like, hey, look, I get the impression this sounds good to you, but I know you probably need to think about this. You need to go away, let it mull over. How about I give you a call in a couple of days? You've just they will step into the space. You've warmed yourself to that person when you say something like that. If you say that to me, I just think you're an idiot because I want to buy now and you're walking away because I'm a D or an I-type personality. So with me at step 7, you're like, well, does that sound good? I'm like, yep. You're like, okay, let's go ahead. I'm like, cool, here's my credit card. So you don't want to miss that opportunity. But if you do that with someone else, and let me know what you think, Teals, if you're like, well, smart people make decisions on the spot and rarely, if ever, change them, are you going to be one of those smart people? Which is a really cringeworthy close. And you push someone into a sale, then they may have loved every step, but then all of a sudden you just talked yourself out of the sale because you don't respect their buying decision. So in this sales process, you'll find that you're saying next to nothing and people walk away knowing exactly what they want, thinking that you're a great salesperson, which you are, and that you listen really well, or a great conversationalist. Well, I just didn't really talk a lot. I didn't interrupt. I gave you space to talk. I asked questions and responded with relevance, and I was genuinely curious to get to what's most important to you. That's a cracking conversation for everyone, especially for the prospect.